Hi everyone, my name is Jamie and I'm with Homestead Reflection, which is an Etsy shop that focuses on sticker paper, transfer paper, and the biggest seller is the mulberry rice paper, which is this translucent paper, kind of like a tissue paper that works great with crafts. It's very easy. It's very friendly for new people who are doing crafts. We're gonna go ahead and decoupage this switch plate with what's called a Mod Podge. I use the satin finish. I like this one versus a gloss. I think the gloss sometimes makes it look a little crafty. So the satin is always my go-to. So all you're gonna do is put a thin layer of the Mod Podge on top of your switch plate. You don't want a lot of this glue because even though I seal my papers with a sealant, it is an inkjet printer that you use. And if you use too much of the medium, which is this Mod Podge, it seeps through and can make the colors blades. And you don't need a lot. I mean, you don't want to tear the paper because it's all liquidy and gooey and stuff. So again, as you can see, you can't even tell that it's on there. That's how light your layer should be. So I did one layer, and as soon as I'm done my layer, I'm going to center my paper around this switch plate to where I think is going to be perfect. Now you can use your hand to flatten the image down. I prefer saran wrap because sometimes the glue and adhesives get onto your hands, or you might have paint on your hands and that ruins your paper and your project. Where this, the no contact and the saran wrap really flattens it out and makes it where it's flat, no wrinkles. It's just a no fail. Once it's on there, as you can tell, it's on there. You can tell that light adhesive did the trick. I go back in and I do a really simple layer on top. You don't need a lot, and you don't want to press hard because you don't want to tear the paper. It is like a tissue paper, so it's very delicate, and I don't want to say it's very forgiving because it's not. If you tear it, you tear it. So we're going to go ahead and just go lightly on the sides and around the center and just give it a nice little layer. Now that it has Mod Podge on top, we don't want to come back in with the saran wrap. We want to go ahead and let it dry completely, which only takes about 10 minutes. And then once we're done with that, I'll show you how to take the excess paper off of that and show you what the end result is. So let's wait for this to dry and we'll be right back. Okay, now that it's fully dried, we can go ahead and get the excess off of the sides. Now you can cut it, but I find that sanding it down with I use like 120 grit, seems to be a little easier and leaves a little bit more of a natural edge to it versus a straight edge like a scissor cut does. But it's up to you, especially with something like this. And then as you can tell, it's really easy to just go ahead and tear that off. Now I'll probably come back in with a little bit of the Mod Podge and seal the sides down because it lifts just a little bit as you manipulate it with the sander. But that's really it. It's pretty simple. Now on this one, my sides, two of my sides are the exact same size of the edging, so I didn't need to sand that all the way down. But again, just gonna come in, make sure it's all sanded down perfectly. I will seal that down with a little bit of that Mod Podge. Now it is for a light switch, and you see there's no holes. So that's easy enough. I'm gonna come in with a little X-Acto knife and just make a slit down the middle of it. Don't need to really cut the whole thing, but we will go ahead and make sure that it's cut. So then what I can do is I can press down on it just like that. And all I'm gonna do then is just press around the sides of it. I know it's hard to see. And then I'm just going to glue that down. So I'll use the Mod Podge behind it and seal the sides down, and that'll hold it perfectly in line. There's no like hard way to do it. Like there's no magic behind this. There's no trick about this. It's just making a hole, folding the flaps over, gluing it down, And once you put the light switch on the wall, it'll hold everything in place. Same with these. You can poke a little hole where the screw goes. You don't really have to worry about it being a circle or anything like that, because once you put the screw in, sorry, I was just making sure I got it right. Once you put the screw in, it will adhere and it'll puncture right through. So you don't even need to really worry about making sure there's a hole there. This is just big enough where it's probably good to get it and then to glue the sides down from the bottom. And then the last thing I do is I usually will use a satin clear enamel. And what that'll do is seal my project. So if there's water that gets on it, or a dirty hand, you can wipe it down because it's got a top coat on it to keep it from any moisture coming into the paper itself. Satin enamel takes about 10 minutes to dry, and then once that's dry, you're ready to hang or to mount your light switch onto your wall. So you can do this with any kind of decoupage paper. You could even do this with a napkin. If you've got a beautiful ornated napkin, you can do that just the same. You don't always have to use rice paper for it. You can use a napkin. Napkins tend to be a little thinner than decoupage paper. So I always say if you're brand new to this, you're probably better off starting with the rice paper than a napkin, just to get the hang of maneuvering it, especially with the Mod Podge, because Mod Podge will make napkins really sloppy and tear very quickly and bleed everywhere if you're not an expert at Mod Podging. So that's it. That's about as simple as it could possibly be, and it makes a great switch plate. It makes a great decoration in your home. I hope this was an easy tutorial for you. If you have any questions, please comment below and I'd be happy to get back to you on that. You can also visit my Etsy shop, which is Homestead Reflection. The link below down there is where you would go find all my decoupage papers. So maybe one of my designs will be something that you would love for your home or your next craft. Thanks again and happy crafting.